The army. The church is also the army. The part of the church which will be the man-child to fight against the enemy in the heavens will also be the army to fight with Christ against Satan on earth. After all the raptures have been completed, and after the believers have been judged at the judgment seat of Christ, all the overcomers will come back to the earth, with Christ as his army to fight against the Antichrist and his army. Both Christ and Antichrist will have an army. Although one army is heavenly and the other is earthly, both will fight on the earth. In other words, Antichrist will fight against Christ and his army, and Christ will fight back with his army. The false Christ will be so bold as to fight against the real Christ, but the real Christ will war against the false one. In 1714, we see that Christ's heavenly army will be composed of all the overcomers, those who have been called and chosen. Eventually, at the end of this war, Christ will defeat the Antichrist. The New Jerusalem. Ultimately, the testimony of Jesus will be the New Jerusalem, beginning with the lampstand and passing through the great multitude, the man-child, the firstfruits, the late overcomers, the bride, and the army. All the saved ones will eventually be the New Jerusalem, which will be a living composition of all of God's redeemed ones, the ultimate consummation of God's building of his people, in and for eternity. The New Jerusalem will express God in the Lamb with the flow of the Spirit. When we come to chapters 21 and 22, we shall see a clear picture of this ultimate consummation.